Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video. My mother, in her 50s, and me, late 20s, have always had a normal bonding with each other. We weren't like close-knit mother-daughter duo or anything, but no, we had no bad blood among us. It was just like any other Asian family dynamic, and yeah, we were all cool and same went by my sibling. My father and mother had an arranged marriage, and if you do the math correctly, my mom had me young. She was married young too. The situation was like she got out of college and was married off immediately as my grandparents didn't want her to choose her own life partner. We are from a very conservative society, and as my grandpa is from a South Asian country, the tradition they have in their countries is high key conservative, and she never really got a chance to decide anything for her life. I am the oldest kid and a female. So, yeah, she wasn't allowed to stop until she gave birth to a male child. So, after my youngest sister, at last our brother was born. He is right now in college, actually, just 2 years into college. So, you can see the age difference between me and him. My father is not really that great husband or father. He just did his basic duties as the man of the house and called it a day. My mother never really loved him, and at some point she tried killing herself because she didn't like her life, from what I know. I was only 12 at that point, so I don't remember much, and it was so traumatizing for me, as my therapist said my brain made itself forget about that incident. Then one day, suddenly, she couldn't take it anymore. I remember that. I remember that day, my mother behaving nervously, and from my family dynamics, I have this thing of learning the mood of the person or the room by just sensing and looking at it. And that day, she was extra nervous from the usual. I knew that she was up to something and wanted to tell my dad, but I never trusted him. My mom talked to the three of us, told us to eat properly and take care of us and dad. And remember the look she gave me, and from that, I knew she was about to do something. I couldn't sleep the whole night and was staring out the window. Then at night, I saw my mom leaving the house roughly around 1:54 a.m. And then that was the last time I saw her. I know she saw me the last time near the window too, but she never looked back. We searched for her the whole next month, but she was nowhere to be found. And out of rage, my dad stopped looking for her as well. After that, my dad remarried a new girl, and things actually started to change. I don't know what happened to my dad after my mom left, but it was almost like he was really hurt. And at that time, I didn't understand why would my father be hurt. Like, why? If he loved her, he would have done so much better for her and be like any other loving husband, but something changed in him. He started prioritizing us, and when my stepmother came in, we pretty much turned into a new healthy family. It's almost like my mom was the bad bone in the house, and because of her, the whole family was toxic. It changed slowly and it became better. We all grew closer to each other. I mean, it was awkward for me, like I was all grown up and being treated in a good way from my father. Felt surprising. So, yeah, everything was right. And even though I miss my mom, I felt happy over everything. 8 years passed from today, she left, and everything practically changed. My brother and sister, they got to have their healthy childhood, and yeah, I'm really glad that they were saved and it's okay. I went through all that. I am over it and have forgiven each one of them because my therapist said to me that I should, because that grudge won't help me move forward. My dad fell in love with all of us, but he hated my mother more than anything. He hated the fact that what she did with all of us. He hated how she left us and cut every tie with my mother's side of the family. And I understand that anger of being abandoned out of nowhere, and the society we live in made my father feel more miserable about it. As I grew older and older, every time I would want to know about why she left, what was the reason, but my dad had made this unspoken rule of not talking about my mother in the household and what was done. None of us siblings ever brought her up, and our stepmother never made us feel bad and treated her like her own children. And for her, too, you could see that she was upset over my mother. Maybe it's because of her feeling bad for my dad and us. But yeah, she had a bad bone with my mother too, even though they have never met each other in any way. So, from all the details, you can say we have zero connections to her in any way or form, and no matter what she is, just simply not allowed into our lives anymore. Now, back to what actually happened. My mother returned into our lives a week ago. After 8 years without her, she just shows up in the evening right before we were supposed to go to bed. New Year just started, so 1 week from now it will be the 23rd of December, and she shows up at the door. We were all enjoying Christmas vibes, decorating the house. I know this because we were waiting for my sister to arrive, and we don't live with our parents anymore. So, yeah, we arrived and started our decorations and everything. She shows up, and all the people, I had to be the one opening the door. I am the most emotionally weak one when it comes to her. If it had been someone else, she would have had the door shut on her face, and that's just exactly what she deserves for abandoning all of us. I started losing it. I felt all those emotions again, and I couldn't think straight. Everything came flooding so fast, and I couldn't process it all and started throwing up and having panic attacks. I know the whole story doesn't seem traumatic enough, but the emotions I felt were real. And before you go on and judge me about the whole thing, about how I am overreacting, let me say, I know what I went through, and you telling me otherwise is not going to make me feel otherwise. And please be kind. My parents and siblings immediately rushed over to me, and after realizing it was my mom right there, he called the cops immediately. They got me to my room, and my mother was still demanding to be with me, not realizing she is the one who is causing it. And it was one of the most horrible experiences that I wouldn't recommend to anyone. I actually have no memory as I passed out seeing my biological parents yell at each other face to face, and it just triggered so many things. My sister told me everything that my mom was kicked out of the house by the cops, and after that, she came over on Christmas, completely uninvited, and everything about it scares me. I am scared that my dad and the whole family will go into ruins again, and this is just so unhealthy and toxic to me in every way. She tried coming again. It was yet another disaster. This time she came with everything. The house we live in was purchased half on her dad's money, so according to her, she has every right to enter the house as her father bought it, and we can't stop her from doing anything. And when my dad called the cops and they again arrived, she just refused to get off the porch, and her lawyer made sure to remove the cops from the scenario. None of us spoke to her directly, and she kept on apologizing for everything, even though she knew she had already messed up. After a while, I decided to go to some other place with her to talk things out because of my own curious thoughts. Look, I needed an answer. We went to a nearby park and started talking about everything, and she told me a lot of stuff that I have yet to digest and process inside of me. She had a boyfriend from her college whom she was madly in love with, and he was too. But they had to break up, and she got married to my dad. But the feelings remained, and she just loved him till the very end, and according to her, she just couldn't live in the life she had. Even though she and her lover fell apart, she loved him. After she found him again on Facebook and reconnected with each other, they just couldn't deny the feelings, and they both hated the life that they had, so they decided to leave their respective families and start a new life and enjoy it to fullest. But things didn't go how she planned they would. Her boyfriend never married her and never left his own family. Kept her in fake promises and love and literally ruined her life. And turns out he had some other girl in his life too, and she left when one of his girls was pregnant because she grew tired of feeling like an option. Then, after she was not accepted back in her own family, she decided to come to us and ask for help. I have nothing yet to say about this whole thing because honestly, she sounds so selfish in the whole narrative. Like abandoning us was your choice, and her choices had consequences not only on her, but equally on everyone. It changed everyone's life. I remember how little my brother was, and he would ask for mom, and we had to make up excuses, and when we wouldn't buy any of it, he would cry himself to sleep. It's really complicated for now, and I don't see a solution for it. She left at night, and my dad is mad at me for speaking to her and giving her my time, but he will slowly understand. I know things will get better. The last update, probably. My mom and dad officially divorced, and my dad had to pay 1,000 to her, and it's better this way, honestly. We want her out. No, I no longer sympathize with her. She was selfish and she has to face her own consequences on her own. And if she tried anything, we will get a restraining order against her and pack things up permanently. And I will be seeing a therapist along with my family, and we will work more on our family dynamics. My father spoke to me and asked about her explanation, and I could see his heart break, and it's okay. We will heal from all this together. OP cut the mom off. She did what she did, and it is what it is. She sounds betrayed. Honestly, that guy she trusted is nuts. Honestly. And the main villain here is Mother's dad. He is the main AH. I'm 26 and yesterday was my birthday. Ever since I could remember something, sometimes big, has happened on or around my birthday. Graduations and weddings are really big in May. This has led to literally all my family and friends forgetting about the day. When I was little, I would remind people, and my day would just be tacked into whatever was happening. But once I turned 15, I just let it pass. I've completely given up on celebrating my birthday with them. I buy myself a cake and a small ice cream and just chill with my favorite movies. However, every year without fail, someone wishes me a happy birthday on Facebook. My birthday is not on Facebook anymore since even then it was not remembered. That leads all of my family, like my sister and parents, to then rush to apologize for forgetting and try to make it up to me. This year they made it a whole day and a half, about 5 p.m., before remembering and now want to take me out to some restaurant. I have no want or need to go. I informed them my birthday was yesterday and that I already celebrated it. They insist that I should go because they already paid for the reservation. I told them to go without me. This led to an argument about how I'm not allowing them to apologize and that I need to get out and socialize more. While I don't socialize all that much, I don't want to feel like an afterthought. They did call and invite other family members and said if I didn't show up, I would be an a-hole. At this point, it's more frustrating because I just rented all the Spider-Man movies and plan to binge watch them. I really don't need their apology. I've come to expect this to happen, but they said if I expected it, then I should be prepared to eventually celebrate with them. Am I the a-hole here? Sorry, I didn't respond to the comments, but thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. Update. This doesn't need its own post, so I will put it here. I did not go to dinner, but I told them if they really wanted to apologize, then we could have a barbecue this weekend at some point. This spawned a whole drama-filled rest of the week of calling me an a-hole. Their points are that everybody, including them, are busy with graduations and those parties were already planned. Again, I want to point out, I don't want or need a group celebration. I did take into consideration what was said here about celebrating later and not on the day and thought that this would be a compromise. My feelings are not hurt about this anymore. I am not sitting miserably and feeling sad for myself. I'm just out here living my best life in reality that I had 15 plus years to come to terms with. Oh, NTA, that's crappy. Imagine forgetting someone's birthday and then getting mad when they don't want to go for an afterthought make-up dinner. If they care so much about celebrating your birthday, they should remember your actual birthday. If not, they've got no grounds to be mad, do they? My family always forgets to wish me happy birthday on time and often forget each other's too. We've never been big on birthday fuss, and it's a running joke among all of us. It's not really hurtful. We're just not good with calendars, my family. But oh, if they wanted to push me to go to dinner and get mad about it, I'd laugh in their face. Turn your phone off and enjoy your movie binge. And a belated happy birthday to you. My parents divorced when I was a baby. When my dad was single, he made sure we had stuff we did together. When I was 9, he met Kirsten and her 3 kids, who were younger than me. Once they started seriously dating, he stopped making an effort to do stuff just for us. Once they moved in, I couldn't even get in the car with him for a drive, just the 2 of us. I asked for some time. He would say we could have time with the other kids included or with everyone. I spent more time alone with Kirsten than I did with him, and that wasn't what I wanted. He spent a long time with each of her kids doing stuff like driving them places or watching games, just him and one of them throwing a ball around. None of that extended to me for that one-on-one time. I mostly checked out while over there mostly. except for the times I would try to get some time with my dad. It was even more strained when they had two kids together because it was more people for him to be with. Of course, they all get one on one time with him as well. I admit I resent Kirsten and the kids because he focuses so much more on them. He'll make time for them, but not for me. He's shown up to more of her kid stuff than mine since he started dating her. Kirsten doesn't like how checked out I am. She told me before to just enjoy time with my family. I told her I didn't want them to be my family if it means my dad has no time for me, but never has that trouble with them. She told me that that could change if I moved in with them full time. I told her to F off, that I wasn't going to leave my mom for someone who couldn't be bothered to make time for me. She said her kids all looked up to me and they deserve for me to treat them like siblings. I told her she should have chosen a partner who didn't neglect his relationship with his kid in favor of hers. After that, I got into a ton of trouble. Kirsten and Dad told me to respect my mother at their house and told me I had no right to speak that way to anyone. A few months ago, I asked Dad if he would go to laser tag with me since I won 2 tickets. He said sure, that he could buy tickets for the other kids. I told him to forget it, that I would go with a friend. We fought. I stopped going to his house as much. Mom went to court to make it okay. They are planning their first family vacation for this summer, and I was asked by them to go with them. I have said no about 10 times now. They told me I should be with my family again, that I hardly ever see them now. I said it's how I prefer it. They said the kids had been excited about me being there and seeing me again, and now I was going to crush them. AITA? NTA, speaking as somebody from a family of divorce, what your dad did was wrong. You specifically asked to spend time with him, one on one, and he refused to do so. Adding to that, they said the kids had been excited about me being there and seeing me again, and now I was going to crush them. That's messed up. That's putting you in the middle and is completely unfair to you. I'm sorry you have to deal with this.